Hello, my name is Douglas Rumbaugh, and today I would like to talk to you about annealing. So, when you're reloading ammunition, annealing is a fairly important concept that you should be aware of. Basically, what happens is, as you fire a brass cartridge repeatedly, the neck and shoulder of the case become harder. And this decreases the reproducibility of your results between shots. It also can potentially become dangerous as the brass becomes brittle and fracture prone. The way that you fix this is to heat the brass up, and that softens the metal out and essentially returns it to its pristine, unfired state. The problem is that it's very difficult to do this process consistently without expensive equipment. So you can buy lots of different kinds of annealers out there right now, but usually they're several $100s or more depending upon how fancy you want. And a lot of them are built for certain volumes that you probably don't need, or just have certain features that aren't useful to you. And so why pay for those features when they're not important? And all you really need is some way to ensure that your brass remains in the flame for a constant amount of time, and that amount of time is the same for all of your brass. And so that is what I am attempting to resolve with this little project of mine, is create a very inexpensive, I'm targeting around $70 per unit, a very inexpensive device which will allow you to consistently anneal your brass. And you can just sit it on your reloading bench for less than the cost of your reloading press and have access to annealing should you need it. So, just to show you the basic operating principle of this device, I have constructed a very rough prototype. Now, this is obviously not heat safe. Ultimately, the final version will have to be. And all that it does is you mount a torch using something like this to the frame of the device, and then it will lower the brass into the torch flame, spin it for a specific amount of time until you get to set the amount of time using some binary dip switches, and then drop it and reset so you can do your next one. And that's really all that there is to it. You can set the amount of time using these binary dip switches. It's not as straightforward as something like an LCD display would be, or an LCD display and a touchpad. However, an LCD display and a touchpad cost dollars, and the dip switches cost cents. And it really does give you a lot of control and very quick control over the time adjustments. You can be very precise with it, the way that it's set up. It just takes a little bit of getting used to, and it keeps costs down. So, that is my annealer. What I need is funds to design a chassis to fit the whole thing in that looks nice, will sit nicely on your bench, and that will handle the heat fairly well. And I'm not too concerned about that. It's more of just machining the parts out of aluminum. But those are the last two steps before I have a saleable product, and that's what I need some extra funding to do. So please do consider contributing. Thank you.